option of Michelle. It's very
Thank
fun.
you. I'm working on it. I think it's like when I have my bangs down and everything is down. I don't know, my hair's been
Hmm.
short for short
Hmm.
for so long. I used to be able to just wear it down regular without even thinking about it. And a lot of it is like I don't like the way it touches my shoulders sometimes.
Mm.
All
Hmm.
right, I think we're on.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. I so wanted to, well, coming to Sunday service now is like work, And I so was like, oh, I want to call in. And I like had your thread up being like, would you want to cancel Sunday service today? And I was like, no, you idiot. Just go do it. Also, I don't need to cancel next
Well, I'm
week.
proud of you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you don't?
No, no, we canceled our trip.
You want to?
Hmm?
Oh,
Yeah.
is how
That's,
do we feel about that?
huh?
Feeling about that being can't.
You're
Am I
cutting
quiet?
out. No, but you're cutting out.
Oh, 'cause the lag. Yeah. I was
Hmm.
pulling up the facilitation doc and it's making my computer lag.
Mm. What was your
How
question?
are how are you feeling about it being canceled?
I'm incredibly sad and devastated.
Well,
It's too hard. I still have to go up there. But I'm just gonna do it on my own in a day,
mhm.
I guess.
Well, make sure that you account for the toll that that's going to take on you and make sure that you don't have anything planned after so that you can just
Mm,
exist. That's the kind of advice you would give for me.
that's true.
Um,
Okay, I can do that. Actually, I can really actually do that because I think I'm gonna go on a Friday and then I'll have Saturday off. So, well, I already have the
very
weekend
nice.
off.
Hmm.
Cool. Thank you for that. I appreciate
Hmm.
it.
So,
Today's a full moon and
oh,
I have been bleeding for 2 days and
oh,
it's my anniversary with Laura.
oh, what a series of things all happening at once.
I know.
That's wild.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I've got some weird health things going on. I might end up going to the bathroom a lot this meeting, but I'll probably just turn my camera off.
Mm, hmm
But I've got a fun thing planned today, assuming I'm not bathroom stricken to not go, but it's this Japanese fall festival that we have in town at this local park, and I've wanted to go every year since I moved here pretty much, since I was in college, and something always comes up. So I'm
Mm.
hoping this will be the year that I go, and I'm gonna dress up because you get a discount if you go in costume. So I'm gonna wear my Ren Fair
Yeah.
get up, and I just a few weeks ago found this frilly pink um, multi-tool layered skirt with little flower decorations on it.
Hmm.
And I safety pinned it so that it fits better. Um, I found it on a fluke because I accidentally went outside of my size section. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have found it because it's like an extra large or something.
Hmm.
And I'm like, who cares? Like, it's fluffy enough that I can just pin the waistband and then it's just going to flare outward in a way that you can't tell.
Hmm.
Um, and it matches my corset that I've had for years. And I'm actually really excited to be able to wear it out. It makes me feel like a princess.
You are a
Um,
princess.
I prefer lady, but until I get like an Edwardian outfit put together, I'm gonna go with my princess look.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited to get out and finally see what the festival's all about and and just kind of vibe and experience it. I may or may not take a dog. We'll see. We'll see
Oh,
how
that'd
that
be fun.
goes.
Yeah. Which dog?
I wanted to take the littlest one, Bean, because she hasn't experienced other people
Hmm.
as often, and she seems the least interested in going after other dogs. But she also jumps on people more, and her claws are sharp, and I haven't had a chance to do them. So I think I'll just take Cora, who's used to going to the Ren Fair, and she loves road trips more anyway. She
Mm,
might still lunge, but I'm hoping that she'll little clock in her system that where this is like a Ren Fair, it's just local because she's usually
mm-hmm.
pretty good about that at Ren Fairs.
You'll have to take
She'll
little
go up
bean
to them.
something smaller first. She needs a lot of test runs.
Yeah, she does. I would love to be able to take her to places. Can't do long trips because she's not a car ride dog, not like Cora is, but some small local thing, I would love to do that because I feel like people would love her. She's very chaotic, but yeah, I want to be able to do that because she's
Oops.
really cute. I also,
Mm.
I want to do a PSA. Do you happen to have the chat open by chance?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I'm gonna send something to you that you can put in chat.
Okay.
And I guess it's not so much a PSA as like free advertising, but there's this indie book that I just read, and it's
Mm.
not technically released yet, but it is on Booksprout, and I'm obsessed with it. But it's one of those things where it's technically fiction, but it hits in a way that goes beyond that.
Mm.
So I'm going to send this to you. So the book is called For Her Ears Only, and it's by Win Ray. And um, basically it's about a girl who hears music and things, and like the flowers, the atmosphere, and all this stuff, almost like it's being transmitted to her from the universe and reverberating off of things on her world, but no one else can hear it. And so obviously she's ostracized for that and she has to come to terms with it. She goes through
Mm-hmm.
this phase where she wants to ignore it. And there's so many themes in the book that remind me of things that we've gone through in our community that I'm with you. So, like, there's autism struggles, needing accommodation for things like that. There's masking. There's overstimulation because she actually does keep her hair short for the first chunk of the book because of the fact that there's so many noises she's hearing at once that the slightest brush on her hair, on her ear, drives her mad. So, and she also, her apartment has all of these things like deep carpet, soundproofing on the walls, double painting the windows. Um, and she winds up finding herself among people that do appreciate her, that are willing to accommodate her without making her feel othered. And a lot of that reminds me of finding your people when you are coming to terms with your neurodivergence and what makes you special, what you do, you know, you deserve accommodations to exist as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't deserve to be othered for it. But what also was interesting to me is she has these voices in her head that are like alternate versions of her that she calls her other Lyras. That's her name. And and they say the most horrible things to her, but they also argue with each other. And so there might be a smaller voice that's like, well, you know, this part wasn't your fault. And then another one might say, but blah, 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 blah.
This is
And
like,
so
go ahead.
yeah, no, it reminded me, first of all, it reminded me of CPTSD and how
Yeah.
we talk about those things and those voices and how to counter them. But on a more literal note, it also reminded me of our friends with DID
DID,
and
yeah.
how they have these alternate personalities that sometimes they war with each other, sometimes they coexist, but they have their own separate identities.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she calls them all Lyra, um, it just reminded me of that. And then there's also this whole arc with little Lyra, where she meets an alternate version of her younger self. And she is so fiercely protective over her. And she goes out of her way to make her feel loved and protected in a way that she didn't feel growing up. And that also reminds me of CPTSD recovery. And it's
Hmm.
just like those things are not mentioned. DID is not mentioned, autism is not mentioned, CPTSD is not mentioned, and yet the themes are so recognizable for someone like me on that journey. So I just thought it was really heartwarming. And another thing point is there is like a person, there is a guy in there that she meets, but the story does not revolve around that romance. In fact, things are even kind of left open-ended, but
Oh,
she
yeah. Hmm.
she recognizes his role in helping her realize this, and they have this comfortable relationship by the end. That and it doesn't end like happily ever after in the traditional way, and I don't know, the voice changes too. Like the narrator voice changes as Lyra comes to these different understandings of herself. So like when she starts out, she's talking in the children's voice, and then as she gets kind of a little bit older, we hear her say things that she will literally contradict later and realize, I can't believe I thought like that. Like, how could I say these
Hmm.
things? And it's like you're going through that journey with her. And it's just,
Hmm.
I love it so much. I could not stop loving this book. And I just raved about it in the reviews and didn't even say everything that I loved about it because at some point I had to stop.
Hmm.
But I can't talk it up enough. So I recommend when it's released, buy the paperback. But if someone wanted to read it before it's released, then they could go on Booksprout and create an account and download it, um, because it's just amazing. There's also going to be an audio book that my library doesn't have yet, but might at some point in the future because they've got a
Hmm.
notify me button. So I can let you know when the audiobook's out, since I know I know you with like long texts might be harder for you.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I just wanted to rave about that and point it out as a really, really good book for anyone in that healing and recovery space that doesn't relate as much to the direct self-help nonfiction books, but maybe wants something that feels escapist while also speaking to them.
Hmm. I mean, what you're talking about is so fucking important. I love that they didn't mention any autism or CPTSD or any of the things,
Mm-hmm.
because like those really are just like labels that we use to explain things that are fucking normal.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea that it is just how she is. It's not like there's something wrong with her.
Right.
Is that the
Which,
vibe?
yeah, literally. And she spends so much of the book like with conflicting accounts. She can't decide like if she is crazy or if she wants to be
Hmm.
crazy. She has this weird relationship with what makes her different, where at one point she goes through a block and she doesn't experience the music anymore. And then she's like, this is what I wanted for so much of my life. So why does it feel like this when I'm disconnected with it? She also has this weird relationship with using and abusing, what makes her different, and coming to terms with the fact that it's her. Like she has she has power over that. Um,
Hmm.
and also coming to terms with just being different in general. Like, what does that mean for her? And even when she doesn't have the music anymore, she realizes that she wanted the music when she became accepted because of other people. Like it went from hiding for other people to using it for the sake of other people when they realized that she was really talented. And
Hmm.
then it's like when she lost that, she regretted it because she could no longer live up to their expectations. And then she finally realized, I don't want the music back for them. I want it for me. And there's also a focus on existing, like living with accepting discomfort and just being. Like there's a big focus on that in the latter half of the book with just being. Um, and it's really, really good. I already said that a bunch, but no, there's the more I think about it, the more I remember other things that I loved about it.
Accepting discomfort. This is reminding me of remember Lisa? We had that little
Hmm.
book club, and the only book that we had was The Traumas of Everyday Life. by Mark Epstein. Um, and it is kind of about like that I not like completely that, but when you said accepting discomfort, a lot of it that's like kind of what I got out of it. Like everybody's suffering in little ways all the time because that's what it's like here if we label it suffering. So if, like the way that internalized it was well, it made me complain less about little things like even just pain because I'm like, yeah, it hurts here. And like it just like gets that off the plate. And
Hmm.
then I can just deal with anything else that comes through
Yeah.
with that knowing that like that's normal and accepting it. And accepting that big discomfort is a thing too, sometimes.
Hmm. And also, I just remembered there's a line. I use my Kindle and I learned how to use the highlighting feature. And this book is so highlighted because I kept seeing
Mm,
lines like, "Oh my gosh, that's a banger. What is
mm-hmm,
this?" But there's one that reminded me of you and your recent thing that you're working through where it's like everything is exactly how it should be.
mm-hmm,
Um, so it was something about like this is here is the perfect place and now is the perfect time.
mm-hmm,
Something along those lines. And I have it highlighted in there for the exact verbiage, but it just hit. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like exactly what Michelle's been talking about.
mm-hmm. And like when I'm saying that or when I'm feeling when I become aware of that again, it is a reminder that like how much it makes sense because otherwise you're living in the future, which is anxiety or depression, or in the past, which is depression. So
Hmm.
like to understand that what is happening right now, like my messy bed, my tiredness, all of this is perfect. It has to
I
be.
I need to share this book with you. I
Yeah.
really, really
I'm
want
on
to hear
part
you
two of
talk.
the other book that you shared with me. I haven't gotten into it since I finished part one, but it's really good. I like this guy. I love
Yeah.
this guy. The way that he talks or whatever
Hmm.
is good for
Yeah.
me. I like it.
That is such a relief. This one is much longer than that one because that one's technically a novella.
Hmm.
Um, but it's not like 500 pages. I think it's the equivalent of like 200 something.
Hmm.
Um, but it's under 300. But yeah, I would
Definitely
love.
share it with me. I was thinking I went to the library was it yesterday, day before, I don't know when, day before. And I actually
Mm,
checked out a book. I've never done that here. I haven't done that since like elementary school, like checked out a book.
mhm,
And it was so easy because it's all digital now. So I have my little key tag for the big Brooklyn library.
mhm,
Um, anyway, and then I had two other books in my bag that I took with me to like read. And I was like, who
mhm,
am I? I am not like I was a bring a book person. Like just I was always reading one book. But
mhm,
like I didn't know that you could read more than one book at a time. I just
mm,
didn't have that concept. I was like, I cannot read because I haven't finished this book and I didn't want to
mm.
read it. So I'm like, I guess I don't read.
That's
So
real. That is so real.
I didn't know that. And then it was my cousin Pam who was like, oh, I'm reading like three books right now. And I was like, what? How? She's like, they're around. And when I'm like, oh, I want to read this book, and she just reads it. And I was like, you don't have any rules? And she's like, there's no rules. I'm like, what?
Like, if your personal rules are making reading not fun, you need to reassess them.
Well, I just thought that was everyone's rule. I didn't know people read more than one book at a time. I thought they just go start to finish and then start a new book, start to finish. And I guess
Girl,
people,
my ADHD could never. I
I
always
just,
have multiple books at a time based on how I'm feeling because there might be a moment where I'm like, really into like a serious story. And then there might be times where it's like, I need a break. I just had a ridiculously long day and I want to read, but I'm not in the mood for something
hmm
super mental intensive. So then I pick up whatever book I have going that is more lighthearted, maybe even funny. There's, yeah, I usually have multiple different books with different vibes going at the same time, and I can reach for one based on how I'm feeling. And I love it. It's it's so nice to know. I could see like it could be overwhelming if you have a brain that, because it is different for everybody. There are people that are like confusing characters or whatever. And it's like, man, I thought this just happened, but that was the other book.
Yeah.
But it also helps if they are quite different. That's what helps me. Um, so that I know that this book about a wealthy family in the 20s has nothing to do with this book about a lady who tracks down goblins. Like
Yeah.
they're nothing alike.
It seems like
And
it like helps you what's the word?
distinguish?
Well, like there's a memory practice in there,
Mm,
you know? Doing that with your brain, being like, oh no, and then pulling it away and be like, we're in this lane. That's a practice.
right.
That's a helpful brain practice,
Yeah. And it
especially
is
for a
something that,
neurodivergent person.
yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm very in tune to when I'm doing brain practices because being in this body is about training your brain. If
Mm-hmm.
you just let it go from beginning to end without telling it how to live and how what to
Mm-hmm.
do, um, then it gets crazy. It probably
Mm,
becomes addicted to drugs. You know, it's like, or it, I don't know. There's just so many
yeah.
ways it can go wrong because it's hard to fucking live here. So once I became aware that our brain is not like my brain, our brains are not like, hmm, how to say this? They all have this learning curve, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And like I spent a long time being like, my brain is specifically damaged and terrible. No, it's not specifically damaged and terrible.
Right.
Um, it made choices for me out of survival, and that's its job. And now I have to, now that I, and now I have those skills, right, that are more intense than maybe a person who doesn't have those experiences where their brain has to go into this one mode of I'm going to protect myself and I have to do this for years.
Mm-hmm.
And circle back to recovery is about training it to be like, okay, we don't have to survive anymore, but like we don't have any other way to use our brain. That's how we make choices. So the
Right.
habits and stuff are about telling your brain like these are the things that are important now, not um not I'm trying to think of some of the things that I would have to do, like um not making sure that I'm in my room at a certain time so that this person doesn't see me and get triggered to hurt me. You know, like those patterns go through, or like s- getting into screaming matches with my brother, running away from him. Like I don't have to do that anymore. I never will have to do that. It's a skill I have, so I can do something like that if I need to, but I don't need my brain to be trained on that. I want it to be trained to do other things like um read. You know?
It's a luxury for sure. And
Yeah.
accepting that we have those luxuries and taking advantage of them is huge.
Hmm.
Like reading has been my escape lately that I finally can do more. Um, because I've always loved reading, but there were times in my life when I felt like I didn't have room for it in my life. And so there were chapters in my life where, no pun intended, there were chapters in my life where I just wasn't a reader. And it wasn't because I didn't like reading. It was just because I couldn't identify with it. And now it's like I am accepting that like no, I am. I am still a reader. That didn't go away after high school.
Hmm.
And now I'm a grown up and I can buy my own books and I also have uh more resources than I ever did as a kid to find all kinds of books I would have killed for. And I don't even have to pay for them all because I have two different library apps on my phone. And I just, there's so many things that I'm thankful for that books have made such a positive impact on my life. And I can look forward to that. Like, whenever something is like really stressful, I know that I can take my Kindle, for example, that I wouldn't even have if someone hadn't given it to me because they got a new one and they were like, "Hey, you're bookish. You always take like multiple books in your purse every time we go somewhere with the work team. Do you want this?" And I'm like, "Sure. Um, okay." And now it's like my person calls it my Skindle because it's basically a second skin. It's always with
Attached to
me.
your skin.
Yeah. And even when I'm not reading actively on it, just knowing that it's there for me when I need a little escape, it it's just so comforting to have. It's my emotional support Kindle at this point. Um, and if it weren't that, it would be other books that I've been carrying around. It's just the only difference is it's more convenient now. But yeah, it's really helpful, and my brain really appreciates the acknowledgement that whatever's happening right here isn't the end all be all. And I have a right to enjoy myself in the
Mm-hmm.
form of this book and also be in the moment. Like it's this weird ability to both escape and be in the moment because you have
Mm-hmm.
to slow down in order to sit and read a book.
And do the one thing.
Yes, like it's the one thing that I can't multitask doing. Obviously, if I'm doing an audiobook, then I can, but with an actual book, it's harder to multitask, like
This is
having
like
four screens up.
this is like writing. So there was a like writing, you can only think about one thing while you're writing, really. I think that's why doing this Sunday service is so important because when you're doing the brain dump, you're really just doing that. And then
Mm-hmm.
what was I gonna say about this? Well, it helps you stay focused on one thing, not five things, or
Yes.
100 things. There was something else I was gonna say. Keep losing it. Um, hmm, I don't remember. It'll come back to me.
Well, I imagine it's a good exercise for focus.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I want to embiggen this, please. Let me open. There it is. So now that we've done our thing for 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
which is becoming a trend, which is fine.
You need some
Um,
sort of little intro or something. I wish we could just put something like on the screen without sharing it so that people knew that it was not just us. Like, I guess we are shooting the shit, but we also need a name for your little book club segment.
I didn't expect it to be a segment, but
It's
this
a
particular
segment.
book,
We
this
did
one
plan
hit.
this, remember?
Yeah, I know.
And it's all
Which is weird
happening.
because that was my whole thing because I couldn't imagine like it seemed like we were doing like self-help type things and that's just not what I usually read. So
Mm-hmm.
this book hit me because it's like, oh, this is exactly the type of thing that I would read and it's got those elements without it being a direct self-help or feeling like kind of
Mm-hmm.
preachy or whatever. Which there's
And it,
nothing wrong with that. It's just my brain doesn't connect as much with it in book form as it does like with
mm,
talking or other
mm-hmm.
things.
Yeah, it's definitely a new thing for you, it seems like. And I think the way that I see this little book club segment is not specific to any theme, but just things that like the Buddhism book the yoga book,
Hmm.
they're just relevant to you and I in our lives in general. So I don't think it has to generally be like a self-help. Like a lot of the books that I'm reading right now are, oh my God, I forgot. There is a book that I got. It's at Target, so anyone can get it. Let me grab it real quick. It's like a workbook.
Oh, no, Michelle loves the workbook.
I got a new journal, of course.
Oh.
I wanted something that I could put in my bag that was like hard to fuck up. Anyway, it's
I
this.
also love that it looks like your doodles that I've seen
Yeah.
you make.
I know. There was two. There was this one and one with butterflies, and then someone got the butterfly one. And I was like, well, I guess this is my book.
Mm.
Anyway, this is called The Thought Log, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy to Process and Reframe. You know, all
Mm.
the docs that I make, it's basically
Mm-hmm.
this in a book form. So in the beginning, it talks about what it is. It's unpacking triggers and like notes like the trigger tracker thing that we did in group. So
Mm-hmm.
it has like a bunch of it tells you very briefly and very easily what things are and how to answer things. And then it had like it talks about cognitive distortions. It basically tells you about blaming others, emotional reasoning. It gives labels to things that happen when we're
Mm-hmm.
triggered. And then the second part is um, so it has you like ask questions. And the example is so like the first thing is what happened. The second is what was going through your mind. The example is so what happened was this is where you identify with the activating situation, try to focus on the facts, who, what, where, when, be brief and specific, and then what was going on. Write down the thoughts during and immediately after the activating situation. What emotions were you feeling? Which is tough. Obviously, emotions are very hard to name. So you name
Mm-hmm.
some emotions, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, rate their intensity. And then what thought patterns do you recognize? And it gives suggestions, which is nice because like I don't know what the fuck to write for a thought pattern. So it says all or nothing, blaming others, and then earlier in the book it gives a little key of what each of these means.
Mm.
So then you just log, and then how can you think about the situation differently? So how to flip it into like, oh, I had to lock myself in my room so that my brother wouldn't hurt me. And then the flip on that would be, I know how to, and I'm comfortable being alone. I know how to be safe. I don't know. I just like was thinking about that real time.
What was the name of the book again?
It's called The Thought Log, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy to Process and Reframe. So it's CBT in a little book form. And then it has it has a little page where you can write their notes from your therapy sessions, and then it just has blank ones, and you go through, and if there's a situation, you just fill it out, and then later you can go through and look at the patterns, and then you have all your patterns circled, and you can collect data that way and be like, okay, these are my main themes. It's very cool. And then there's a journal entry for your own journal things. It's just, I lost my fucking mind when I saw this book.
Yeah, sounds like it was made for you, basically.
Yeah. So I got it because I want to go through it and then use it. And I want to get one for Laura and see if she'll use it because I'm curious if she would be interested.
I just found it on Target and linked it in the chat. So now we
Perfect.
both have book recommendations.
Oh, that's fun.
Maybe that will be our segment is what are you reading? And I'm always pretty much lately, I'm always reading something different. Um, but if I'm still reading the same thing, then I can just talk a little bit more about that. And then if you've got like whether it's a notebook or a new book that you're reading, we can just kind of talk about whatever we're reading right now, and that can be our version of book club. Um,
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
yeah,
Can't wait to brand
neat.
it.
Yeah, of course. You. Um,
Gonna be a logo coming
so
soon.
let us go ahead and start. And let me share screen. Boop. Let's do window. There we go. Okay. So, this is our, let me scroll down a bit on my side. There we go. So this is an ADHD friendly or neurodivergent specific planning meeting that helps you create a clear weekly plan to commit to your next steps. We use visual tools, keep a supportive vibe, and kind of provide real structure for our week. And we want to make sure that we come every week to master consistency. So we'll build time management skills, prevent burnout, and use recovery tools. We want to make realistic, doable plans, bring on time energy and delegation strategies, and create space for joy in our week. So basically, we we do it in 4 sections. Real quick, we can do quick intro. We've already kind of talked, but I can say my name is Scarlett. I live in the general Midwest. Um, she, her pronouns, and I identify as panromantic and ace. So, Michelle, you can go next. Excuse me,
Okay.
buddy.
My pronouns are she, her. I live in Brooklyn and I'm bisexual, bitch.
Very nice.
Got for you.
Works. All right. So what we do, and of course, tips for a successful planning meeting, we want to honor the moment and set the tone. So it's more than just a planning session, it's a ritual for clarity, alignment, and taking care of future us. We want to be present, curious, grounded, and inspired. We want to curate our space, set the vibe with lighting, music, comfy clothes, fidgets, anything like that. We want to handle the basics, whether that's snacks, stretching, bathroom breaks, hydration. We want to grab tools, which may be pens and notebooks, or it might be laptop and a calendar, whatever helps you focus. We want to use our resources. So we have the free Daily Dandy and Brain Dump Guide that can be downloaded on the website. And then we have a Notion template that you can use that you can duplicate to your own Notion account and fill out. Both of those are in the chat already. And so basically what we do is we do this in 4 sections. We do a brain dump, which focuses on the present and getting everything out of our mind. And then we do reflective questions, which focuses on the past week. And then we move to top 20, which focuses on transitions us into the future. And then staying in the future mindset, we do calendar, which is where we add things to our calendar and account for the weather and other fun things. And then we wrap up. So we will start with 20 minutes for our brain dump. There's no wrong way to do this. You just kind of take whatever's taking up space in your brain and vomit it out onto the paper or the template. It could be a list or a paragraph or both. Um, and you can use categories or just let it flow. So we'll take 20 minutes for that and we'll come back and move on to the reflective questions.
Okay, thank you. Did we do it?
Yep. I was just looking for my unmute button. So,
How'd it go?
I wound up making a short list, but then using the entire rest of the time to journal. How about you?
Mm. Um, I um it went really well. And right as I was like, okay, I think I'm done, there was 1 minute on there, and I was like, oh, that's a nice feeling.
Mm,
When I was three-quarters of the way through, I was like, okay. And I was like, oh wait, let me look at last week's um calendar to see what I didn't do. And then
mm-hmm.
that helped me round out things that I was missing.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty,
Very nice.
yeah, I'm good.
Well, that transitions us into reflective questions. So, we want to ask ourselves, how was the week? How did I perform in my various roles as an adult? Did I achieve the goals I set for myself? And then we want to list out victories and almost, kind of like successes and failures, but we want to be kind to ourselves about it. And it's mostly for memory planning. Um, it's a memory exercise and to plan for the next week. So then we want to ask ourselves, what could I have done differently? And is there anything that I need to follow up on? And we'll take 10 minutes for that and then come back for top 20.
Okay, thank you.
How are we feeling?
Mm, good. I am good. I'm very like organized already. How about you?
Not too bad either. I realized, as I usually do, that there's more to the previous week than I thought. And I also
Mm,
longer than I thought. Because I'm like, wait a minute, that was this week. Um, so yeah, not too bad. I'm feeling excited about the next week so I can get more done.
me too, actually.
I'm so glad. I was worried
Yeah.
about the next week for you. I'm really glad you're able to make the best
Yeah.
out of it.
I think it's gonna be good.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Well, our next section, now that we've done the present and the past, we're moving to the future. So we're going to do our top 20. We want to pull out roughly 20 ideas. Doesn't have to be exactly 20, but we want to limit it to at least or at most that. And we want to pull out ideas, tasks, what have you, from our brain dump and our reflective questions that we want to focus on this next week. So we want to add structure to everything that we just kind of spit out on the paper. We want to recognize the most important bits and set realistic expectations for what we can accomplish in 1 week. And we want to prioritize where we want to invest our energy. So you can use categories, label them based on urgency, and then later we'll wind up plugging those things into our work week among some other important bits. So we'll come back in 15 minutes and we'll move on to the last section.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. That
What'd you
starts
do?
with me. I did okay. I had a lot of it done already from, I did a little bit of it from the reflective questions. So, uh,
Mhm.
and some of it from my short list brain dump. So I wound up finishing early and took a bathroom break. How did you do?
I did great. I really didn't have to do much because I realized I pretty much did my calendar right after brain dump.
Oh,
Yeah, I decided I didn't want to reflect on the week prior,
mm-hmm.
because I didn't care. Um, and so I just used that time to go through my week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then remove all the things I had checked and then what was left. And then I had a couple things from last week's top 20 that I moved over. And then I just went through my brain dump and instead of doing top 20, I just had it all on my calendar already.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I don't know if it's more than 20 things, but it actually might be. So maybe I'll go through that now that we're
Okay.
actually at the calendar
Now
section.
that we're at the, yeah, exactly. Alrighty, well, we shall move to the last section, which is calendar, weather, domestics, etc. So you want to visualize a successful week by accounting for things and adding them to our calendar, like items from your top 20. We also want to think about time blocks, like non-committals, creative time, admin time, where we handle emails and whatnot. We want to consider the weather and domestics like chores and meal prep. And we also want to consider breaks that we might not think of otherwise, things that account for like stretching and nature, pet care, meals,
Mhm.
reading time in our case. Um, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes and we'll wrap up the meeting.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. That our time.
I'm so glad that I actually used the calendar section for what it was for because I realized that I'm traveling on Friday and I had a whole bunch of sit schedules, so I just put it back into my like um top 20 reservoir of things that aren't going in
Mhm.
the calendar.
Right. I like that reservoir.
Yeah. And then I also forgot I'm working in the shop on Wednesday, so I removed anything I had in there and moved it to a different day that I'm already
Hmm.
doing similar things.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
pretty good.
Very nice.
What about you?
Not too bad. Apparently it's gonna be cloudy literally all week,
Mm,
but the weather is decent. So I was worried I'd be cold today, but I don't think I need to worry about that because it'll be in the 70s. So
nice.
that's good.
It's gonna
Yep. And
be, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't have crazy things on, like on the schedule of the calendar because I focus mostly on this event today. And then the
Mm,
rest of the week, I'll be getting stuff on like my chores list and whatnot. But for the most part, I'm just excited about today.
cool. That's nice.
Cool indeed. So, do we have any final thoughts or feelings for today?
Yeah.
No.
I
We
mean,
got a lot of it
maybe.
out.
I'm too tired to talk more.
Honestly, that's fair. And you did a lot of talking in the beginning, so that's fair too.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, I guess uh, a final thought would be to read something that makes you happy and accept the luxury of enjoyment of things that aren't necessarily outwardly productive. Um, and yeah, I guess we'll see everybody back next Sunday since we are back on track for that.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.